Okay, at this time, looks like we've got a great crowd today for one reason or another. But at this time, I'd like to call the meeting of the Madison County Fiscal Court to order. Sandy?
Magistrate King,
Here.
Magistrate Barger, Magistrate Hughes,
Here.
Magistrate Combs,
Here.
Judge Clark.
Here. Roger called me this morning, and he's come down with a bug and felt it might be better if he didn't come because we were expecting quite a few people in today. So he sends his regrets. And at this time, you all have had a chance to look at the minutes of the last meeting. If there are no changes, no discussion, a motion will be in order to approve those as submitted in your iPads.
So moved. Second.
Magistrate King,
Yes.
Magistrate Hughes.
Yes.
Magistrate Combs.
Yes.
And Judge Clark.
Yes. Treasurer's report, this is our fourth Tuesday. Glenna, I think you have that for us.
You should have got your report in your iPad, and this is the first month of our new fiscal year, 14-15. And our general fund revenues, our fund balance on June 30th of 2014 was $7,730,321.69. And our fund balance on 7/31/2014 is $6,208,090.72. Which a big portion of that, it seems like a big drop, but a big portion of that was CSEP money that was sent in and was sitting in our CSEP account. We had almost $1 million more in our CSEP account that was just waiting to be paid out. Our general fund revenues for this month, at the end of this month, is July 31st. General revenues are at 39.4%, expenditures are at 8.8%. Road fund revenues are at 11.8%, and their expenditures are at 8%. Jail fund revenues are at 14%, and our expenditures are at 9.4%. Our CSEP fund revenues are at 11.4%, and our expenditures are at 8.6%. And our 911 fund revenues are at 17%, and our expenditures are at 9.4%. We also paid out in the month of July. We always have to pay our insurances up front. So the property liability, workers' comp, that is almost $400-some-thousand. So that's a big chunk that we pay at the very first year. Also, you all will receive a copy of the audit that was just released today. I don't even think it's up on the website yet. It should be there tomorrow on the auditor's website. If you have any questions about it, it's a very good report. If you have any questions about it, just more than welcome to call me and I'll explain.
While you were up here, I noticed in the claims we had like 3 months for medical.
Yes.
You just probably doing that because of the way the money comes in.
The money comes in, and the company itself got behind on their billing.
I know they 3 months, all right?
Yeah, we had to go back and pay 3 months at once, which did hit us all in the same year, but it was a complication with the company getting us the bills correctly.
I seen the 3 up to April, and then it had one in August.
Yeah.
So
we had paid July. There was some discrepancies on the ones back, and we weren't paying them until they got those discrepancies taken care of.
Are they up to date now?
They are up to date.
Okay. Well, they just got so many over to take care of.
Well, I'm done.
Right, Doug?
All right, any questions for Glenna?
good
Not,
report.
thanks, Glenna. Okay, we'll go on into the order of business today. And first, Karen Haley's here with the Red Cross. And we're always glad to have somebody once or twice a year come in and bring us up to date on what's going on with the Red Cross and tell us how good things are.
Well, thank you very much, Judge Executive Ted Clark and magistrates. Thank you for having the American Red Cross here today. We're always glad to be here, and we do make it more than twice a year, maybe twice here to the fiscal court, but we're here quite often taking care of business as usual. But today is a very important day. We have a national initiative that the American Red Cross headquarters has put out for us. I do want to give you a staggering statistics to begin with. To date, we have had 1,589 deaths due to home fires in the United States. In Madison County, from July 13th up through June 14th of this past June, we have helped in Madison County 46 individuals, assisting them with either shelter, food, clothing, and other assistance here in Madison County. Our Bluegrass chapter does serve 55 counties in the Bluegrass region of the state of Kentucky. So we are quite busy, and we are definitely very appreciative of our volunteers that help us move our mission forward. I want to start with a little introduction here. According to the National Fire Protection Association, you may know it as NFPA. Oh, sorry. Thank you. Is that better? Sometimes I've been told I've had a big mouth and don't need a mic, but if this is better, I'm good. According to the National Fire Protection Association, between 360,000 to 400,000 home fires are reported each year in the U.S., killing an average of 2,500 people annually and causing an average of 13,000 injuries. These figures don't include the deaths and injuries due to firemen and responders. Home fires cause nearly $7 billion in property damage. Each year, home fires affect more Americans than floods, hurricanes, or tornadoes combined. The American Red Cross, in an effort to prevent and alleviate human sufferings, is launching a nationwide public initiative that aims to reduce the number of fire deaths and injuries in the U.S. by 25% in the next 5 years. This initiative is the first in what will be a series of disaster cycle services programs focused on making a lasting and measurable impact on community preparedness and resiliency. Here are some of the objectives in the initiative. That's why I'm here today. Collaborate and build local coalitions with our local fire departments, agencies, and community leaders. Door-to-door installation, we're talking grassroots approach here, of smoke alarms and completion of home safety checklist and planning in vulnerable neighborhoods. And when I say vulnerable, high risk that have fires and low income. The American Red Cross right now is in the throes of making an effective market and public relations campaign to motivate people to take action to save themselves, their neighbors, and their families by checking their smoke alarms, practicing their safety plans. Here's what we have already done in the Bluegrass region. With the data and the tools provided by national headquarters, we have been able to determine areas at high risk of home fires causing deaths and injuries. We have targeted 5 zip codes. The combined data from 5 years of responses to home fires in our systems provided by our Red Cross volunteers and the demographics had contributed to highlighting these areas. Through collaboration with the Richmond Fire Department, we have been talking with Chief Cox and Buzzy Campbell, as well as PVA and GIS departments looking at the neighborhoods, as well as Mr. Robert McCool and helping us with the inventory and many other attributes that we're looking for in helping communities prepare for this initiative. A total of a little over 3,000 homes right now are targeted to be pre-canvassed before our launch on October 11th of this year, at which time these homes will have smoke alarms installed and residents will receive the valuable education and fire safety by our trained volunteers. This will be an ongoing process for the next 5 years. We're not going to do it October 11th and then just hope everything comes to place. Why smoke alarms? We have found, and most of you all know, your local fire departments do a great job in educating their community, their citizens, in fire safety and helping distribute fire alarms and those materials that hopefully they're reading and learning to keep themselves safe. We thought, what better way to unify our coalition, and it made sense for the American Red Cross to partner with our fire departments to raise that effectiveness in reducing injuries and deaths. One cornerstone of the campaign is going to go door to door where it counts the most.
Data shows that 4% of homes without smoke alarms represent 40% of the deaths and injuries in home fires. On average, between 6 and 7 Americans die in home fires every day, and nearly 2/3 of all fire deaths happen in homes that have no smoke alarms or non-working units, which we have found when we work on a fire case. Working smoke alarms do cut the risk of home fires in half. Where will we get the smoke alarms? Again, we're working with our community leaders, our fire departments to see where the inventory is and hopefully buddy up with those departments and see what we can do to match that to figure out how we're going to hit the numbers that we need to do to make those homes safe. Fire departments receive grant dollars for smoke alarms. We have already sat down and talked with Lexington Fire Department, and again, like I said, the Richmond and Madison County Fire Departments. We do have some inventory here in Madison County that Mr. McCool is going to help us with, but we need many, many more. And National is trying to collect, or they already have collected, all the data. We have been working on this at an accelerated rate because of the importance of these staggering numbers of deaths and injuries. We can't wait any longer. We all need help. We all need to help each other, and that's why we are making this thrust with our local agencies and our partners to help them as well. It is possible we will not have enough smoke alarms to bring residents into compliance with local codes. However, the leaders in national headquarters have determined, and in talking with our local chiefs, they agree, one smoke alarm is better than none. We are working on an emphasis on in-kind donations and grant funding to obtain the smoke alarms needed in the target areas. I bring that across very seriously because I've been in disaster services for 3 years. I have worked over 500 fire cases within those 3 years with volunteers. And I see horrible outcomes with people losing everything. Personally, I was affected. I've lost a home in a tornado. I've lost a home in a fire. And in 2001, my home got struck by lightning, so look out. But I think someone up there was calling me to come to the Red Cross, and hopefully I'm making a positive change. I can't express enough my passion and the passion of thousands and thousands of volunteers that work with the Red Cross each and every day that want to help you be safe. I have a person here with me today. It was kind of spontaneous, but he is going to be our co-leader here in this area. He's not new to emergencies and fires and everything, and I think a few of you here may know him. His name is Larry Burnett. Please stand up, Larry, and be recognized. And I appreciate you coming in today, Larry. I'm not sure where you drove in from. Were you? Frankfurt, okay. And believe me, he's been in this business for how many years? Since 80. They just contacted him a week ago. He had lots of other things going on, but he and another gentleman have graciously accepted this challenge and this task. And in talking with him a little bit, I just met him for the first time this morning. We're going to hit this head on. And we would love your continued support and your cooperation. This is more of an awareness and education. You're not going to be done with us. We're going to be tromping and hitting the bushes and hitting the pavement and hopefully get people safe with smoke alarms. Any questions?
It's wonderful what you're doing. Anytime we can protect or serve or help people save their lives is an awesome job that we can do, and to help provide funding that, to the people that's unfortunate that can't afford a fire alarm. I think it's unique that we support them and help them. So thank you for your work that you do.
Very good. And we're
Karen?
happy to do it.
Thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you. Thank you very
I
much.
think I can speak for the whole court, and we have supported Red Cross for at least 21 years that I know of. And we're going to continue to do that. It's a wonderful organization. We really appreciate you all working so hard,
Thank
helping
you.
the public.
Thank you very much. The feeling is very mutual. Thank you very much.
Okay, next on the agenda is Alexander Bybee is here. And this is a little different situation, and I felt like that ask Alexander to come to the court. Briefly, she's looking, there's going to be some excavation work done down at the end of Main Street. And Alexander is a cultural resource analysis, and they want to make sure there was an old cemetery. There are two homes where the little old service station on the corner was. There are two homes on top of the hill, and there used to be a cemetery there, and I know from reading back records that they checked, they did test holes and never found anything. But the company that's doing this work really wants to ensure that if indeed anything's found, that there's something on record with fiscal court, and I think they want to do an ordinance that would allow Jimmy, and I've talked to Jimmy about this, and he's all for this. You know, if indeed something was found, then anything and everything, skeletons or part of skeletons, could be removed and then relocated, as we've done all over the county. It's in the city, but apparently the county really does this because it's a county coroner's issue. So I just learned about this, but I thought that Alexandra come in and explain a little bit better what you're talking about and your idea if indeed something happens. And if everybody agrees with it, we'll go on and have first reading. We can do that today.
Okay. I don't know what I should say because you just summed it all up for me. I'm Alex Bybee. I work for Cultural Resource Analyst. I'm a physical anthropologist. One of my main jobs with our company is historic cemetery relocations. I've done this dozens of times in Kentucky, Indiana, Illinois, West Virginia, North Carolina, all over the place. Like the judge said, there's a cemetery. It's at the corner of, well, it was a cemetery. It isn't any longer. There is a potential that when they relocated all the graves from the original Richmond Cemetery in around 1890, they relocated them all to the modern cemetery. That was established in 1856. That was the first grave. When they did that, they were supposed to have removed everybody. In 1890, there was a newspaper advertisement, which that would be a lot better than having a newspaper advertisement today because probably most of the people are gone. They removed all of the headstones and then supposedly all of the graves. That isn't always done as efficiently as it is now back at that time because they didn't have backhoes and that sort of thing to identify graves. So the company that wants to do some construction there, we went out and we dug 3 trenches to see if there were any, if we could find anything that looked like a grave shaft or anything. You typically see those as a big rectangular kind of a stain after you strip off the topsoil and into the subsoil. We didn't see anything like that. So I kind of have a feeling that maybe when they upgraded Main Street originally, I think they probably did remove everybody. They were supposed to have blasted out 10 to 20 feet. If you drive past that area, you'll see that there's a huge, just a huge incline off of where that was located. We didn't see any evidence of any graves or anything like that, but that doesn't mean that there weren't potentially a missed grave here or there, something like that. So what the client would like is to have an order from the court that says that if human remains are identified during their construction, typically what you'll have to do to get a permit to disinter and reinter from the Office of Vital Statistics is you have to have a newspaper advertisement that runs, it runs once and then you have to wait 60 days before you can remove graves and that sort of thing because you have to try to identify anybody who may have next of kin or anything like that. But because they did that in 1890, technically they should have gotten everybody at that time. So basically we have this idea that what we'll do when we did that construction, we didn't, or the trenches, we didn't have any evidence of anything. Jimmy Cornelison was out there, and he agreed that he didn't see anything either. He has the idea that if they do find human remains, they would be reinterred. We could excavate them archaeologically. They could be analyzed minimally. It's not something where we have to technically do any kind of intensive analysis. I would do as much as I could in the field, which is identifying age, sex, stature, pathology, trauma, if anything like that. cultural materials. We look at the nails and if there are any coffin handles or anything like that. It gives an idea of when somebody would have been interred. Probably we wouldn't be able to identify anybody specifically because there were hundreds and hundreds of people and there's no known records of any of the people who were interred there. So if we did find them, we could excavate them archaeologically and then they would be reinterred at Flatwoods Cemetery. I think that's what Mr. Canelans said. And that's pretty much it.
I think the bottom line is, and I felt like, well, we don't 99% sure there isn't going to be anything there, but the company would like to have something on the order, so maybe it wouldn't hold work up if indeed they did find something. You'd like to go on and have an order on the books.
Yeah, if you could have the order issued and then I could get, I could contact Office of Vital Statistics and get all of the paperwork in order for them so that if something does happen, they can call me and I could have a crew come out immediately and it would hold them up for just a few days as opposed to 2 months, that sort of thing.
Mark, does that need to be done by ordinance?
No, I think an order would be sufficient.
Okay.
Just so long as all the statutory requirements are being met, I think
Yes.
an order suffices.
Okay.
Okay. So we don't have that written up, but I think the court could go on and then write something up. Mark?
Sure.
Let's-
And probably rely a great deal upon your guidance as far as the language necessary to draft the ordinance.
Oh, I'd be happy to help. Yeah. Okay.
Okay, is everybody in agreement with
That's
that?
fine, yeah.
Why would we take them to Flatwoods to Richmond Cemetery? I mean, where it's,
Flatwoods is really the only one that we've got an agreement with. That we've relocated several, and they've always been very accommodating as far as letting us go out there. I don't think there's a lot of room in Richmond Cemetery. Everything's kind of was bought up a long time ago.
If I may add, when I spoke with somebody at the Richmond Cemetery, they weren't interested, if I can put it that way. And so it was something that I don't think that they were, I don't know. They do have a section there that was the original, from the original graves, but I don't know what kind of records they have for that.
Okay, so if we're all in agreement, then we'll go and work on an order, and I'll have it ready. Alexander probably be in touch with you. Francette has your phone number.
Yes.
And we'll get in touch with you, maybe get you in, come in for a couple hours one day.
Okay.
And Mark, if you could kind of draft it for us, would you care to do
I'll get
that?
some language from you that we can kind of put together and get something.
Okay. And she's got my email address and my phone number and
Okay,
everything, so.
all right,
All right, well, thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Coming
Thank you for
in.
your time.
okay. Okay, next on the agenda is something a little,
Sorry, is there a vote necessary?
do you want to do it now or wait till we get it written? Could we go on and vote on it
I kind
now?
of thought that you were going to vote on it, just work on the language. That
So
way we
moved.
can get it done where you-
Yeah, that'd be fine.
Second.
Magistrate King,
yes.
Magistrate Hughes, Magistrate Combs.
Yes.
Judge Clark.
Yes. Thank you. Okay, next is something a little different. We have a new auditor, and he has been working tirelessly throughout the state to bring everybody into compliance, and he felt like, along with the legislators, that it might be important that our taxing districts, not only in Madison County, but this covers the whole state. It's every taxing district in every county in the state of Kentucky. Show a little bit more accountability. We've never had any problem with our taxing districts. It's always been, a good relationship. We talk to them and they submit their rates, but there now is a KRS that states that those taxing districts will send a representative to a fiscal court, and it says testify, I think, but it's really, all we need is just a little statement on how things are doing. Bring some, I saw Ruthie's got a great little one-page report here for the library. So we don't want you to go into a lot of detail, but the main point is just state what your taxing rate's going to be, and then we'll put it in the minutes of the meeting so everybody's legal. And I'm pleased, I haven't looked on, I don't think any taxing district is doing anything with their rates this year. So let's get started with this. And first, Nancy Crew, the Executive Director of the Madison County Health Department, is here to give us her testimony.
And Judge, I'm sorry, Nancy, but before she starts this morning, does testify, imply that there's going to be sworn
No,
statements made?
it's just comments about what's going on and then state what their taxing rates are going to be.
Thank you all so much for having us here. It is a new thing. I wasn't really quite sure how much to prepare. I thought that to err on the side of brevity was probably the most appropriate thing to do. Again, our process has always been very transparent. As a health department, we have to have our rates approved by the fiscal court anyway, so you all are very familiar with our process, and we also undergo an annual A133 audit, which is, so there's a great deal of clarity as to where the taxpayers' money goes, and that it is spent in a wise and responsible fashion. And again, I want to thank the citizens of Madison County for the funds they put into the health department. It used to be our taxing district money went to cover maybe 10 to 15% of our expenses. Now with the reductions in state and federal funding, which are steep, over the last 5 years, it covers over 20% of our budget. So again, we're very, very grateful for and very much dependent on these local dollars. On June the 4th of this year, the Board of Health met at 7 p.m. in Richmond and passed a tax rate basically by resolution of 5 cents per $100 of the assessed valuation of all real property and 5% per $100 of the assessed valuation of all personal property in the county for the year 2014, and a rate of 5 cents per $100 of the assessed valuation of all the motor vehicles in the county for calendar year 2015. I don't believe this rate has changed since 2006. So again, we have kept it level and steady, and it has already been sent to you all and was submitted and approved by the Department for Public Health. Do you all have any questions?
Any questions? If not, Nancy, thank you so much for taking
you
time
all.
out of your busy schedule to come in. We appreciate it.
Thanks for
And
having us. Thank you all.
What we'll do, and we really want to make this clear, we don't have the authority to approve or disapprove of any taxing district's rates. It's just what we've always done is you all send them to us, and then we'll do a motion to approve those, and we'll do them all in one motion. But it makes no difference because we really don't have the authority to approve or disapprove.
We acknowledge them, Judge, we accept them, but we can't.
Exactly. Thanks, Mark. So we'll do all of them when everybody's talking. But Nancy, thanks for coming
Thanks.
in. We appreciate it. Next, Amanda Sears is here with the Extension Office.
Good morning. As you said, my name's Amanda Sears. I'm the horticulture agent at the Madison County Extension Office. Excuse me. And also the budget contact. I wanted to update you on our tax rate today. A little information about the Extension Office here in Madison County. We do have 13 employees, 6 agents, 1 agriculture, horticulture, 1 family consumer science, and 3 4-H agents for youth development, as well as 7 remaining are assistants and support staff. I did leave a handout at each of your stations regarding some programs we've had in the past year, some numbers for our outreach in the community. Our district board met on August 6th to set our tax rate, and the board chose to use the same tax rate that we've used as last year. And in fact, this is the same rate that we've used for approximately the last 10 years. And that rate is real property is 1.5 cents per $100, personal property 3.25 cents per $100, and the motor vehicle 1.3 cents per $100. We are an outreach of the University of Kentucky, and they highly recommend that we keep a reserve of about a half a year's operating expense. We're slowly building that back up. We don't have that right now. For those who don't know, we built a building about 4 years ago. It was about $1.2 million, and we're very proud that we did not have to take a loan. We were able to use that and tighten the belt a bit for a few years without raising taxes. So if anyone has any questions, I'd be more than happy to answer those. And then I also have some extra handouts with me today if anybody else would like to see them.
Amanda, you all do a wonderful job out there, and as you've never raised it, which is excellent. You have a $1.2 million building that's paid for. I think that's excellent. And I take my word for it, it's used on a daily basis.
It
They
is.
utilize it, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Just drive by, you'll see that.
There's always somebody at the extension office. It's a great part of the community and the quality of life. And we thank you for coming in.
Well, thank you for having me today. You all have a good day.
Next, Carlos Coyle's here with EMS.
Judge. We met on August the 21st, our board of directors. We had no citizen representatives to contest the rate. Our rate this year on real property is 4.9. It was 4.8 last year and the year before, so it is the compensating rate. I think it's important to note that the prior 2 years we took less rate because our collections were good, and we thought we owed it to the taxpayers if we could cut the tax that we should. Unfortunately, if you read the article, I think Saturday or Sunday in the Richmond Register, our collections have took quite a hit since the inception of the Affordable Care Act, to the tune of about $730,000. So we thought it'd be prudent to take the compensating rate at 4.9. The personal property tax is 6.0, which has been for many, many years. Same with motor vehicle and boats is 6.0. Our overall budget this year did decrease slightly by about $27,000. But then again, you know, the concern over our collections is something we certainly have to keep an eye on and make sure we're able to provide the quality ambulance service that the citizens of Madison County expect and deserve.
You know, Carlos, and I don't want people to take that wrong, 4.8 to 4.9, but if you understand, really, the EMS used to be like 5.6, and over a period of years, they've lowered that every year. So they're really not raising it. They're just getting it back just a little bit because of the loss of the Affordable Care Act. But they've done a wonderful job of lowering that tax just every year for the last 5 or 6 years. So they've done a remarkable job, do an excellent job, probably the best EMS service in the state of Kentucky. And while you're here, I'd like to recognize one of the long-standing members of that board, W.O. Bradley. W.O.'s been there for ever and ever and ever. W.O., how long you been there on the board?
A little over 30 years.
Over 30 years. So,
I'm trying to last Larry
Couldn't ask for a better chairman, Judge. He
he's
is
just
exceptional.
W.O.'s a great friend. But Carlos, thank you all for coming in. We appreciate it. And just appreciate everything you do for the community.
Thank
I
you.
appreciate it. The only question I have
Yes,
is,
sir.
and I know there's some wheels being turned, we're gonna have to have an upgrade in Berea.
Well, I can tell you that we have purchased property in Berea. We've purchased 2 acres on Rash Road. And to tell you when we're going to start building, we're not certain. We just had an opportunity to purchase that property and thought we needed to do that because Berea is growing. Our run volume down there is increasing. And you know where we're at now, we're totally landlocked and can't expand our building in any way. So we're certainly looking to do something down there in the near future.
I hope we could find a buyer for that and use that money, you know.
Absolutely. That's our plan, is build a building and then sell it to help, you know, offset some of the costs.
Sounds good to me.
Thanks, Carlos.
Thank you.
And next is one of our favorites, Ruthie Maslin with the library. Ruthie, thanks for coming in.
Thank you so much. It's always a pleasure to come and talk about the library with you all. I'm Ruthie Maslin, the director of the Madison County Public Library, and I'd like to start out by thanking all of the fiscal court and the staff here in the courthouse for their work throughout the year in support of the library and all of the taxing districts. with special thanks to Judge Clark for his continued guidance, support, and assistance, and also to Magistrate Barger, who's not here. He serves as the liaison with the Public Library Board, and I'll tell you, he faithfully attends all of our Public Library Board meetings, and he serves as an advisor to us throughout, between the meetings, both to me and to the board. I would also like to thank County Clerk Kenny Barger and Sheriff Mike Coyle and their staffs for collecting and processing all of the property taxes that constitute the majority of the library's annual revenue. And finally, to echo Amanda and Nancy, I would like to thank the taxpayers of Madison County, not only for the part they play and pay in keeping our libraries open and making them a vital center of our community, but also for their continued and ever-growing support of our libraries by checking out books, attending programs, and using our facilities and resources. That was a really long sentence. That support over the past year has helped us set a number of records. Our circulation set a record 547,502 checkouts. That's up 12%. We have a record, and I'm so proud of this, 50,244 active library card holders, which is 60% of the population of the county. We had a record number of people, 45,822, attend library programs last year, which is a 53% increase. And we had a record number of library visits, 358,438. With that in mind, on August 18th, the Library Board of Trustees voted to maintain the 2013 tax rates for 2014 as follows. Real property, 5.6 cents, personal property, 8.5 cents, motor vehicles, 3.5 cents. And I am proud to also say that over the past 5 years, the real and motor vehicle rates have remained the same, and the board has reduced the personal rate twice. And in that time, we've also expanded our hours twice. So the revenue generated through these tax rates constitutes the majority of the library's $3 million annual budget. I field any questions. I left a handout for everybody, and I have additional handouts if any of you would like one of those.
Ruthie, I want to thank you and the board, because if you remember when you came in, I was very adamant about that tangible tax rate.
It's one of the first things he talked to me about.
And wanted it lowered a little bit, and I understood, you all were trying to pay for the Berea Library and get it paid off and things. So in 2010, that personal was 15.14, and in 11, you dropped it to 12, and it was in 11 and 12. And now you've dropped it to 8.5, which is excellent, and you've managed your money. You're still doing very well. And I just want to thank you for taking notice of that. I just felt like it was a little out of whack for the residents, and you have done that, you and your board, and I want to thank you very much for that.
We also paid off $750,000 of that Berea building last year. So thank you.
Thanks, Ruthie. Next, Debbie Frazier's here with the Board of Directors. I mean the Board of Education Board of Directors. Debbie, thank you for coming. We appreciate it.
Thank you. Like you said, I'm Debbie Frazier. I'm here representing Madison County Board of Education. We have approximately 1,500 employees in Madison County schools. That's full-time employees in addition to all the subs that we have. We educate approximately 11,000 students in Madison County. And the Board of Education met last week, August 21st, and they elected to keep the rates the same. It will be 60.1 cents per $100 of assessed value for both real estate and for tangible personal property. Any questions?
Well, I want to tell you, and I went to Louisville with Elmer and David last week, and I said, Elmer, I've been here a long time, and this is the first time that I can recall the Madison County Board of Education freezing their tax rate. So, and I told him, expressed how thankful I was, and I know the residents of Madison County are, and please convey that to him. I've already told him that we really appreciate this, in the hard times, and 11,000 students and trying to take care of them, and taking on a new all-day kindergarten with 500 students. So there's a lot going on, but we really appreciate everything that the Board of Education is doing for the residents and the quality of life for Madison County.
Thank you, and it's always a pleasure to work with the fiscal court. So, thank you.
Very much. Okay, next, Mike Hogg's here, Superintendent of the Berea Community School System. Mike, welcome.
Well, we're about 1/10 the size of everything that Debbie just said in regards to, we have about 1,150 students, 143 employees, full and part-time. I've got a handout if it can slide down through there. I'm going to just hit the highlights. I'm going to come back to the current taxation in just a moment. Our situation's a little different than Madison County. Our property boundaries are set, and Berea's been pretty much developed. We do have 2 pieces of property in town, one that's for auction currently, and the concrete plant, and then the former Hicks lumber company, I think, just sold, and Larry may know more about that than I do, but I was doing some home visits yesterday and glad to see that piece of property had sold. Our current financial situation, our district's in good shape. Our general fund balance is approximately 3 months of operating expense, which is for a district our size is about what we should have. So we feel very confident in terms of where we are currently financially. We just re-roofed our building after decades of leaking, about $1.4 million. That just got completed. And then I know something that Debbie is working with, as well as Berea Independent, is the Kentucky School Board's Insurance Trust reassessment, and can tell you that at our last board meeting, we paid that in full and are ready to move forward from that, hoping that we don't have a second reassessment anytime soon. So that lingers as a possibility. Future concerns, the legislature required us to give a 1% raise to all of our employees. It was due, and they did a nice job of funding this year. Next year, we're required to give a 2% raise to all of our employees. It's mandated, not optional. We do not have the money there for that. The state has not given us the dollars through our SEEK allocation to do that. So while this year we have adopted the compensating rate in terms of revenue, and I know you all understand that difference, because of a devaluation of approximately $2 million in our property values, the compensating rate, the actual tax rate, went up 1.3 cents. I would like to report to you last year we dropped the tax rate 8 cents last year because of the revaluation and things. So for future concerns, I'll just be honest with you, a year from now, I'll recommend the 4% increase in revenue because we'll be operating at a deficit without that. And you mentioned Adam Edlin a little bit earlier. I have no intention of having him visit our district. He's welcome to do it if he does it under the auspices of looking at how it should be done. But in terms of an investigation, that's another thing altogether. I will tell you that in the course of the last about 18 months, we have reduced 8 positions in our school district. We have 143 employees. When you take 8, that's a pretty large number for us. We did our best not to affect students in the classroom. So with what's coming, I can tell you that that all school districts are going to be looking at trying to fund that 2%. So in terms of academic progress, our kids continue to thrive, do well. Our measures of student learning continue to increase. We have an excellent partnership with Berea College at this point that allows us to really deepen our curriculum, get kids ready to go to college. That's one aspect. That's not what every student's going to do. And we continue to work with the Career and Technical School. We sure would like to see a vocational school, career technical school in Berea proper. I toured the depot, and I know many of you all have done that, but the need for technical skill folks is going to be there, and so and hyper manufacturing is going to be there. We think Berea would make an excellent place to house that, since there is a technical school on this end of the county. All that being said, our approved tax rate of 85 per 100 of assessed value, and personal property of 87.1 as well. Motor vehicle is 59.1, which I think has been unchanged since 87 or something like that, so it's remained. Questions?
Well, that compensating rate, like you're talking about, once you let it go, you can't get it back.
You can never get it back.
I mean, it's just good business for the kids, students, and everybody, and it's not that much.
Diesel fuel costs more this year. Milk costs more. Paper costs more. Nothing went down. Our workers' comp continues to increase. We're now required, and I know Ms. Frazier, it's just multiply everything we do by 10, and you'll get what Madison County's doing. But we're having to increase our contribution to Kentucky teacher retirement, which we never had to do. And for our district, that's about an $85,000 expenditure that 4 years ago was not there. You're talking about 2 teachers. and that's just to help fund a retirement system, frankly, that's still underfunded, as you all read on a regular basis. But I would like to thank the fiscal court for your all support of our school. Sheriff, excellent job of collections, and we really appreciate that. You'll do a very diligent job. So, any questions for?
Oh, you got that big monkey off your back when you got the roof fixed.
The roof, I understood, leaked since '69, and I can happily tell you there are no leaks at Berea Community School.
Designed to leak.
It was and it did a great job. I can tell you, it did a fantastic job. So,
Mike, thanks so much for coming in. We appreciate it.
I have to hustle back to Berea.
I understand
Thank you all.
completely. Okay. Next is the Red Lick, and they didn't have anybody. It's kind of to come in. It's a millage tax that was placed in order to kind of control conservation, to control the waterways down in the south end of the county. And we've always got, I think, 3 members of that. It's really Estill, Jackson, and Madison County pay this. It doesn't amount to a whole lot, but they did not raise the rate. It's 1/2 mil per $50, 50 cents per $1,000. So it doesn't amount to a whole lot. It helps them keep the lakes, the conservation lakes down there mowed, fenced and repair fence and things like that to keep the animals out of them. So they do a good job down there, and but they didn't have anybody that could get away to be here today. So with that, we've heard from all our taxing districts. I would ask for a motion just to recognize that they have been in court and given their tax rates that were approved by their board of directors, and recognize that in the minutes and ask for a vote. Sandy?
Magistrate King?
Yes.
Magistrate Hughes?
Yes.
Magistrate Combs?
Yes.
Judge Clark?
Yes. And next we have Madison County tax rates. And as always, I'm happy to say that we are leaving our tax rate the same at 8.3. It's been that way for a long, long time, and we've never seen, even with the increase in cost of insurance and retirement, health care, we've been able to juggle things around, and Glenna's been a key player in that. She just walked back in. So we've been able to keep our rate, and we're going to keep it this year at 8.3 as always. Tangibles 10, and watercraft and motorcraft 10, which it's been that way since I can remember. So we do need a vote on that. So I would ask for a motion to approve the Madison County's tax rate for fiscal year 14-15.
So moved.
Second.
Magistrate King?
Yes.
Magistrate Hughes?
Yes.
Magistrate Combs?
Yes.
Judge Clark?
Yes. Thank you all very much. Got a few things. Next, though, we got to award a couple of bids. Carl's here. Carl, you ready to approve a calendar?
Got a couple different things that were dropped into your guys' drop boxes on the iPads. First one would be the calendar bids. It was a one pager, had 2 bids. Both of the bidders met the bid specs. Both of the bidders have done this calendar before. They seem to flip-flop. One wins it one year, the other guy wins it the next year. I guess they sharpen each other's pencils or something. But bottom line is, I'd like to go with the low bidder this year, which is Post Printing. Both of them are out of Lexington with a bid of $54,706. And like I said, that was the low bid by about $1,500 or so, $1,683 to be exact. That's for 52,700 calendars in English and Spanish. The only thing that's not included in this bid, and we do this on purpose, is the postage. We pay that directly to the postmaster ourselves. That way no one marks it up. So there'll be another cost to this calendar, and that's the mailing cost, because we mail out about 48,000 between Madison and Estill County. So. But I'd like permission to proceed with this because we're ready to get it to them and get it produced so we can have it in homes before Thanksgiving. That's our goal typically.
Second.
Magistrate King?
Yes.
Magistrate Hughes?
Yes.
Magistrate Combs?
Yes.
Judge Clark?
Yes.
And
And
basically like last year, the pictures?
Yeah, pretty much. Next year will be, we tried to do it this year, but we ran out of time. Next year's going to be the barn quilt theme but we wanted it to be seasonal too. So we had plenty of barn quilt pictures, but not in every season. So we've got a local photographer who's going to do it for free for us. And so we're going to, we got to pay some gas because we're going to have to drive between here and Estill County to get a smattering of them. But their time and their photography genius is free to us. So we told them we'd give them an honorable mention in the calendar for doing it for us. So next year it'll be a different thing. It'll be the barn quilts, which I think is a cool idea. So, but yeah, this year will look just, similar to last year. We picked different pictures, but same kind of theme.
Next, Carl, is another bid award, the EMA CSEP server.
Yeah, and the server is part of the bid. We broke it into three pieces because we figured we might get better prices if we broke it into three pieces. So what we did is we broke it into the servers themselves, the storage piece of it, being able to store your data, and then the licensing. And it did turn out to save us money by doing it this way. We're doing all of our own labor, so we already saved that piece. We're not hiring anyone to do any labor. This is just to buy hardware and software. So we can do the server piece itself if you'd like first. We had two bids for the servers, and the low bid actually turned out to be what would have initially appeared to be the high bid. Virtual Graffiti is the name of the company. Their bid was $49,088, and that would have looked like the high bid compared to the other bidder, which was at $35,732.44, until you realize that he didn't bid the specs. So when we got back with him and said, well, you didn't include X, Y, and Z, which we gave you on our cost difference column, he was missing almost 16 grand in stuff. So when we added in the 16 grand, he became the high bidder at $51,632.44. So the bid we'd like to give the server piece to Virtual Graffiti at $49,088.
So moved.
Second.
Magistrate King,
Yes.
Magistrate Hughes,
Yes.
Magistrate Combs,
Yes.
Judge Clark.
Yes.
Next piece is the licensing. We want to be able to give that to CDWG. They were the low bidder, and there was no hidden things there. We didn't have to do any adjustments. They were at $25,905.31 for all the licensing. Virtual Graffiti was in the middle at $26,323, and Hensley Elm was the highest at $28,117.59. So I'd like to give that to CDWG.
Okay, there's no discrepancies in letting three different companies do the three phases, aspects of the server?
No, that's why we broke it out in the bid, because we thought this would save us money, and it worked out the way we expected.
Okay.
They're each getting a piece, which is kind of nice. No one did all this work for nothing, but no one's getting the whole kit and caboodle. They're each getting a piece of it, all three bidders.
On Carl's recommendation, motion be in order to...
So moved.
Second.
Magistrate King,
Yes.
Magistrate Hughes.
Yes.
Magistrate Combs.
Yes.
Judge Clark.
Yes.
And the last piece I got is the storage piece. Again, three bidders. This time Hensley Elm and Associates was the low bid at $14,882.98. CDWG would have initially appeared to be the low bid, but you see how we got them up the specs. They were at $11,855.41 until you figured out that they missed some stuff and sold some old technology that's being phased out. When you brought them up to standards of our spec, they're at $15,407.84, and then Virtual Graffiti was the highest one at $17,230 even. So we'd like to give the storage piece to Hensley Elms and Associates out of Lexington.
So moved. Second.
Magistrate King,
Yes.
Magistrate Hughes.
Yes.
Magistrate Combs.
Yes.
Judge Clark.
Yes.
That's all I got. Thank you, guys.
Thanks,
Appreciate
Carl.
it.
Judge's report briefly, and I have a letter that Philip's really passing out, but he wanted to thank everybody from the advertising to the cleanup to all the volunteers. Sharon Graves had her class out there from Clark Moore. Just so many young people that volunteered this year for our Battle of Richmond reenactment. And if you were out there, we had huge crowds. But what was more exciting was, even last year, but this year, I think there were more young kids out there than I've ever seen since we've been putting this on. It's getting better and better, and these kids they enjoy it. They really do. So it's something that a lot of people put a lot of work into, and Philip kind of oversaw it along with a lot of other people, and he just wants to thank everybody who came and everybody who donated some time and effort to help it make the event that it was. Labor Day's this weekend. Of course, as usual, they're giving 60-70% chance of rain, but other than that, we'd like to wish everybody a safe Labor Day holiday and drive careful, whatever your plans, family plans are. The Ag Expo is at the fairgrounds September the 11th from 4:30 to 7. And Amanda, I guess I can tell them a little bit about it. It's huge. There'll be a lot of people out there, and they have everything from talent shows. Booths are set up on every aspect of agriculture and a lot of other things too. It's really exciting. And I think the meal, hamburgers and hot dogs, starts about 5 o'clock. And that's free to the public, so they'd like to invite everybody to come out. They enjoy seeing big crowds out there at that time. And then one other thing is the Richmond Great American Festival that is Saturday, September 6th and Sunday, September 7th. And a lot of stuff going on there, demonstrations by the Battle of Richmond Association, Fort Boonesboro, Whitehall State Park, arts and crafts, food vendors, Kids Fest, presented by Myers. It's just it's a Irvin McDowell Park, and it's just a great time for the kids, and they're expecting several thousand out there, so everybody's invited to that too. So there are a lot of good things going on in the month of August and September in Madison County, Richmond, and Berea. And, you know, Spoon Bread Festival's coming up next month, so a lot of things going on, and we appreciate everybody getting out and going to attending everything they can and bring the kids. That's the main thing. That's what all this is about. And that's all I have in the judge's report. We'll go to department heads. I think Carl's already any other department heads?
Anybody want any updates, or are the pictures enough on the EOC?
Pretty good.
I'll send you some more next month. It'll be even better.
Okay.
Start to look like something.
Comments from magistrates? Greg?
I'd like to thank the taxing districts for coming in today and sharing. You know, it's good to see that we ain't having no increase and that everybody's living within their budget, even though sometimes it's tough and it's easy to want to have increase. And I thank everybody for restraining the boards that has done a good job to restrain themselves from taking money from taxpayers. So that's a worthy appreciation of y'all. Thank you for your hard work you do.
Thanks, Greg. Bill Ray?
Yeah, on taxing districts, you know, that's a favorite subject of mine, and I suspect that maybe some of the attention that we were drawing to taxing districts here in this county and at some of the county conventions might have been a part of the impetus to get Adam Edelin to focus on taxing districts. I suspect, and I've studied this thing pretty good, and I'm really proud of our taxing districts. I mean, in the library, I tell you, I'm just really pleased with the way things are going. The only thing I've learned about this compensated rate, it's a complicated formula, but any time that personal rate is higher than the real estate rate, there's a glitch in that formula that will allow that rate to get out of hand on you. And that hadn't been addressed yet, so they really need to be the same across the board. That for the real, the personal, and the motor vehicle, if they're all the same, that's a beautiful thing. And I look here at the health department; they're 5 cents across the board. And if we could get all of them to be the same across the board, it removes that runaway train, so to speak, on that compensating rate. But I'm just really pleased with, and all the taxpayers should be pleased with our taxing districts.
Thanks, Bill Ray. Larry?
Well, Billy, I guess that's true. Judge, you did mention the Spoon Bread. It is the 19th, 20th, and 21st in Berea. And 3 days, there'll be about 30,000 people total. So it'll be a big process, and I want to invite everybody out because there'll be something there for you. I don't know what, but something. I'm sure there'll be probably a lot of politicians there, but there'll be something for you. And then, of course, we've started our blacktop finally. And, you know, a lot of times you get criticized because you are blacktop because you have to hold the roads up a little bit. But You know, we have some roads that just so narrow you can't go down one side and back up, you have to take it out one time. And then we got some so narrow that you can't do them all at one time. So I just want the people to have a little patience, because I know they get aggravated, but, you know, with progress, you got to slow up sometimes. Other than that, I'm just glad to be here, Judge.
Glad you're here, Larry. What about comments from the audience? Anybody like to come up, talk to us about something?
Judge, I'd like to say something.
W.O.?
Going back these years on this EMS board, I want to thank the members of the fiscal court for allowing me the honor to serve all these years. From, I think Judge Harbond appointed me to the board in 1982. And over those years, through the wisdom of the Madison Fiscal Court, by allowing us to have a taxing district, we've had sufficient funds to maintain an EMS service that can be the best in the state of Kentucky. I want to thank each and every one of you all and assure you that it's going to remain the same, best in the state of Kentucky.
Thank you, W.O.
Thank you for serving.
We agree.
Big salary anyway, wasn't it?
Got a question for Doug. How many prisoners we got, Doug?
How many years I have?
How many inmates we got?
You got 2 more.
How many inmates we got this morning? 320. Still on the rise.
But you don't have opposition, now do you?
All right, next court date, I hope, is September 9th in Berea. If we don't move it around or something, we're planning on September 9th, and that we'll get back on track, and we'll be in Berea. And with that, a motion be in order to pay the claims and approve the transfers.
So moved.
Second.
Magistrate Combs? I'm sorry,
Yes.
Magistrate King?
Yes.
Magistrate Hughes?
Yes.
Magistrate Combs?
Yes.
Judge Clark?
Yes, I want to thank everybody for coming in, especially those people with the taxing districts to take time out of a busy schedule. And a motion to adjourn.